Well, hi there, everybody. Good morning to meteorologist Travis Kleneski here on this Tuesday morning. Looking at things here this morning, we have a few extra clouds farther to the north and to the east this morning. Partly cloudy skies, mainly clear in southwest Nebraska. These clouds will be shifting southward as the day wears on, so skies will become, for a time at least, partly sunny, maybe even mostly cloudy, but then clearing late. A west and a northwest wind will help to warm things up today, so we're going to see a nice jump in temperatures all across the area for today. Overnight tonight, a quiet night and a milder night, not as cold. Mostly clear skies. A few clouds here, in fact, some low clouds and maybe some fog along the Missouri River. But a lot of us will enjoy plenty of sunshine for your Wednesday. That westerly wind will again warm things up. But late in the day, as a cold front dives south, we will see winds shift northerly, and that'll be the beginning of a little bit of cooler air that'll dive south into New Year's Day. But along with that, we'll see an increase in cloud cover. So as you ring in the new year, no major weather concerns at all, but as you ring in the new year, becoming mainly cloudy later in the night. These overcast skies could really stick around on Thursday. A little bit of clearing here to the east, more clearing to the west. And in fact, that cold front, and I'll even back it up here, the cold front becomes a warm front in the panhandle, and that will begin to shift eastward into this area here during the day on New Year's Day. So western Nebraska will not be as cool as areas farther east on New Year's Day. A lot of these stubborn low clouds right here we're going to hold tough. Now it will be starting off partly cloudy out west on New Year's Day morning, but there are going to be a lot of upper level clouds way out to the west and southwest. Those will kind of take over and move in. So there's going to be a lot of cloud cover for a lot of us on Thursday, and maybe even for some on Friday before we see more sunshine going into the weekend. Well, a nice warm up in store for today. Highs into the mid to upper 40s in eastern and northeast Nebraska, and then low 50s for a lot of the rest of the area, even some mid 50s in southwest Nebraska. Closer look at different towns around the area. You can see the mid 40s, or upper 40s, I should say, around Bassett and Atkinson, Merriman, Mullen, near 50, and Tryon, 51 in Broken Bow. Low 50s here in southwestern areas, even some mid 50s in the far southwest. Not quite as warm farther east, near 50 along Highway 281 here, and then mid to upper 40s as you go farther to the east in southeast Nebraska, 43 around Plattsmouth and Auburn. And then finally northeastern areas. This is probably where the thickest clouds are going to be right away this morning. Temperatures will top out in the mid to upper 40s, perhaps near 50 there in Fullerton. So a mild one for today. Better weather tonight, not as cold as we dip back into the 20s for overnight lows. And how about this for the final day of 2025? Pretty darn good. Highs into the 50s for most of us, even a few low 60s in southwest Nebraska. But chillier air is just on our doorstep, and that will sink southward as we get towards Thursday here. So Wednesday night and Thursday ringing in the new year, that's not a bad night. I can remember a few years ago, several times over the last few years, where temperatures have fallen into the teens below zero overnight and it was bitterly cold. So upper teens and low to mid 20s is not bad for a New Year's Eve night to ring in the new year. So I don't expect any big weather concerns if you do have plans out there. And for the first day of 2026, staying mild. Again, that cold front is actually going to turn into a warm front, and that will kind of push east right about there. So a little bit more sun, although we'll see some late day clouds here, upper 50s to near 60 degrees. More clouds right in here. That's going to hold temperatures back. Even with a little bit of sunshine, it's still going to be chillier the farther east that you go, with only 30s for highs there. A little bit of a slightly colder night, but not brutally cold Thursday night and Friday morning. Still 20s, low and mid 20s. That's not bad. And then Friday is probably our coolest day ahead, as that cooler air kind of nudges back to the southwest a bit. So still some 50s in western and southwest Nebraska, but more in 40s here, even 30s, mid to upper 30s around the Tri-Cities, and only upper 20s and lower 30s in northeast Nebraska. So Friday's probably the coolest day, and then that milder air is going to shift back into our area over the weekend. In fact, as we take a look at that long-range outlook, you see the cooler weather to come for Thursday and Friday. No major weather concerns, though, other than a bit of a cool down. That's closer to average on Friday. Average high this time of the year is about 60 or 36 degrees. Looking good this weekend, especially on Sunday, close to 60 degrees, 53 on Monday. We'll still keep temperatures above average most of next week, even if it does cool down a little bit. North Platte, the cooler air not as cool for you. Next 2 days look very similar to the Tri-Cities, but we stay mild on Thursday. Friday a little cooler, but the cool down's not as big there, and then the weekend. Highs close to 60 both days. That's looking really good. Mid 50s on Friday or on Monday, And then beyond that here, we'll keep the temperatures above average into next week here. Maybe next concerns moisture-wise would come towards the very end of that forecast around the 8th of January, around next Thursday or Friday, is when we would see potential, at least, for some moisture down the road. But the Climate Prediction Center is keeping things above average from next Tuesday all the way through the following Monday, January 12th there. That's the week before MLK Day. So above average temperature-wise, expected most of the country, really. Only slightly near average to maybe slightly below average will be in the New England states there. Precipitation-wise, they still have us slightly better than normal chance of above average precipitation, better chances of more moisture over the southwest where they've already had a lot of moisture there. So we'll see if we get anything. Like I said, it would probably be more towards the second half of that time frame there. I really don't see anything for at least the next 7 or 8 days. So really we'd be looking at more towards the end of next week. Right about there. The second half of next week, maybe some moisture. But the GFS and the European model are not in alignment right now. GFS, not much until, again, the tail end of that period there. We'll see. That's a big if right now. Temperature-wise, the good news is no brutally cold air anytime soon. All that's off to our northeast right now. And it kind of pinwheels. You can see the big trough here. And I'm going to try to pause that right there. I can't put my arrow on screen there, but you see the big trough over the Hudson Bay. And it just kind of rotates counterclockwise over the Hudson Bay. But we're in northwest flow still, which is not, that's been the case for weeks and weeks and weeks now. And the mild air to our southwest really starts to build in. You know, we get a slight cool down Thursday and Friday, but then the mild air builds back in Saturday and Sunday. It looks wonderful right now. And notice the colder air in the eastern part of Canada shifts away from us, and nothing cold off to the northwest. Maybe a little cooler. You look at the jet stream right now. Still warm towards the end of next week. GFS is a little bit different here. So again, you see the jet stream's kind of, I don't know if it's going to let me draw it in there. There we go. There it is right there. I'm going to erase that here in just a little bit, that jet stream. It doesn't change a lot though. I'd say maybe by the end of that forecast, it's kind of right there. But again, anything really cold is way up to the north still. So nothing brutally cold coming anytime soon. So yeah, the good news is as we go into early January, as of right now, we're keeping it on the mild side. I know we're going to eventually get a cold spell, but so far it hasn't been too bad so far from fall into the early parts of winter. So, you know, smooth sailing so far. There's plenty of winter still to come for the next couple of months. But, you know, the further we can push through winter and not get these cold spells, the better chance we have of not seeing the big impacts from them as we will then eventually inch towards spring. But that's still several months away here. So, well, I want to thank you all for watching on this Tuesday morning. I will be back with you on Wednesday for another forecast tomorrow morning. I will not be back here Thursday, though, as that'll be a day off for New Year's Day. And then I'll be back on Friday and on Saturday evening as well. But until then, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all again on Wednesday morning. Take care, and God bless. Bye.